evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Mitchell Ringos. The Thunder Bay Police Services Board had a private meeting today to discuss concerns raised in recent weeks. In a release sent out by the board, they're assuring their confidence in the police service, saying they recognize that the journey of rebuilding trust takes time and that it requires them to acknowledge errors in the past while focusing on their efforts set forth in the strategic plan. They say they remain united in the goal to end systematic racism within the police service and provide trust with the Indigenous communities. Grassy Narrows First Nation leadership is calling on the Ontario government to impose a moratorium on mining claims on its territory. As well, the words of Chief Randy Fobister have been brought to the Queen's Park by the area's MPP. Kiiwetinoong Sol Mamakwa says the number of mining claims on Grassy Narrows land has exploded from hundreds to over 40,000, all against their will. If a moratorium is imposed, the community's leadership believe their people and land can heal from trauma caused by mercury poisoning, residential schools, and industrial logging.
Grassy Narrows has asked this government to withdraw mining exploration and logging from their lands. How is this government going to respond? Going to respond to this call from the Chief of Grassy Narrows?
That we have a constitutional obligation, a constitutional duty to consult with First Nations. It is something that we take very seriously, Mr. Speaker. It's less of an obligation, however, Mr. Speaker, and more of something that we know that we have to do.
That call at Queen's Park follows a recent online rally and fundraiser for Grassy Narrows. First Nation leaders and grassroots people joined Anishinaabe movie star Adam Beach last weekend for a virtual event calling for mercury justice. For decades, residents of Grassy Narrows, located about 80 kilometers north of Kenora, have been dealing with mercury contamination, which has impacted the lives and culture of the about 1,500 Ojibwe community members. This past weekend, 4,000 people registered for the online rally that had a variety of speakers hoping to continue to ramp up the campaign for mercury justice compensation for all. Grassy Narrows has won some commitments to improve care for mercury sufferers, including reforming the Mercury Disability Board and starting cleanup in the English Wabigoon River. But Grassy Narrows Chief Randy Fobister says a lot more has to be done.
We're trying to fix our river system. Currently, we're doing a study right now. The government did fund, but it's not going to last. It's not going to last because this is a big job that needs to be fixed.
Grassy Narrows community leader Judy De Silva also attended the online event and spoke on fighting for justice for her community, as she says after the chemical plant upstream dumped 9,000 kilograms of mercury into the river in the 1960s and 70s, not enough has been done, saying their frustrations have fallen on deaf ears.
You think, how can this be? Like 2022, all these industries across Turtle Island are still spewing out poisons.
Anishinaabe movie star Adam Beach was the key speaker at the online rally, where he talked about his personal experiences and the need to continue the fight to save Grassy Narrows, saying that over the next 100 years the land could heal itself, but only if we stop the industries infecting the land, and stressed the importance of taking this movement online for the world to see.
But now we live in a different society when it comes to technology and who you could reach out to. And I'm glad that you guys are all here because we are the ones that are going to provide the hope.
The online rally raised over $35,000 in support of Grassy Narrows and is available to rewatch on the free Grassy Narrows YouTube page. Students at Claude E. Garden Public School are looking to support First Nations that don't have clean drinking water. The kids from all grades took laps throughout the school on Wednesday for a total distance of 2 kilometers. The average walk people in Attawapiskat take to get clean drinking water. The students walked the hallway of the school 7 times, some carrying weighted baskets to simulate the weight of the water. The idea came from when the grade 3 to 4 class was learning about cities, towns, and First Nations. The kids quickly became curious on the state of northern reserves, and upon learning the inequalities when it comes to water, they wanted to do something to help.
People on Indigenous reserves don't have clean water, and we think that we need to take action and try and help them. We also think everybody should be treated equally, and it's not fair that we get clean water and not everybody else. It would be very difficult because you would have to wake up very early and you would have to walk to a well that's like 2 kilometers in the morning.
It really gives me hope to know that our kids are so focused on humanity, that they believe everyone has a right to water, a right to everything, that everyone should be treated equally.
The day's event doubled as a fundraiser for the Dreamcatcher Foundation, which aims to address unique issues in First Nation communities. By the end of the school day, more than $1,200 was raised. It's been more than a month since Russia invaded Ukraine, attacking both military and civilian targets. And while the conflict rages half a world away, a dentist in Red Lake has taken up a collection, raising over $20,000 for the defenders of his homeland. Adam Riley has the details.
When Russian forces began assaulting Ukraine, Red Lake dentist Dr. Konstantin Bulyanfintsev says he and his wife were both in a state of shock.
Our sleep was affected. We was worried sick. We was on vacation at that time when war started, and I think I wouldn't be able to work at that time. And it took myself time to pick up myself piece by piece to be able to come back to work.
But when he did return to work, Dr. Costa, as he's also known as, decided to do something while his home country was being invaded and began collecting money that will be used to fight against Russian aggression. So far, his efforts have led to an acknowledgement in the House of Commons.
Madam Speaker, they have raised $20,000 and counting, and Dr. Costa has personally committed to matching every single dollar that is contributed. Madam Speaker, it's simply great to see the generosity in our community, and even more so to see the steadfast support for the Ukrainian people.
While most fundraising campaigns by various organizations have been directed towards humanitarian efforts, Dr. Costa says this money is specifically dedicated towards defense efforts.
Some money went to Ukraine military, some money went to, there is a big foundation called Come Back Alive, and some of them went to local territorial defense forces militia.
Dr. Costa came to Canada in 1999 before attending Dalhousie University and later moved to Red Lake to practice dental work. He says while the community he grew up in is on the edge of the conflict, some of his friends and relatives have not been so lucky.
As far as I know, some of our relatives on the occupied territories, some of them had to move because their houses got destroyed or there was a real danger to their life. It's very dangerous to people in Ukraine because bombs are falling sometimes far from a battlefields.
When asked how long or how much he wants to raise, Dr. Costa says he doesn't have a number in mind, but he does want to see an end to the hostilities as soon as possible.
I hope Ukraine win. Freedom always wins against tyranny. I just want this win to come faster.
Adam Riley, TBT News.
The Superior West Weather Radar has been out of commission for some time after there were issues related to the network, along with other problems leading to the need for repair. The weather radar has been down since February 9th and since then has fixed the network problems, but issues with the antenna drive and gear have pushed back its return to normal. A site visit has been planned for next week with the duration of repair estimated to be around 1 to 2 days, but Environment and Climate Change Canada meteorologist Jean-Philippe Bégin says depending on the severity of issues and availability of parts, it could take longer.
They're waiting for parts, and yeah, we are waiting as you are waiting to have the radar back in function.
The fix will only be temporary as the Superior West radar will be replaced with the new Shunya S-band weather radar. The foundation for this new radar was actually built last fall, and tower construction will resume next week with the radar planned to be operational sometime in late July to early August. The League of Ukrainian Canadians hosted a fundraising workshop today at the Holy Cross Ukrainian Church where participants were taught how to make a pysanka or Ukrainian Easter egg. Jessica Clement has more.
About 70 people showed up for the workshop Saturday morning to try their hand at making pysanky in the traditional Ukrainian style. Attendees decorated their eggs using a wax resist method, along with a variety of dyes to create intricate designs. It is a tradition that has been passed down through generations. A workshop leader, Kathy Peroshi Harris, thinks it's important to share this tradition with others.
I think it is our responsibility, that people that are Ukrainian in particular, to teach people and to share this with people that are interested in learning more about our culture. And to those people in Ukraine, when they see that we're actually helping to promote culture and tradition and to keep it alive, it also makes them feel really good.
It's kind of a nice tradition to pass down, and kind of just only learn through practice and through word of mouth. So it's nice to be able to share techniques and tips with other people and be able to pass that down to other people.
Each participant left the workshop with their own uniquely designed egg, and all seemed to enjoy the process of making the Easter eggs.
It was fantastic. I've never done this before, and I thought it was a great workshop. A lot of skills I've learned, and I'd like to do it again.
It was fun. We enjoyed it. It's a work in progress, so you never know what you're going to get, but the final outcome, you know, it was okay.
Oh, it was fun. Yeah, the time really went fast, I thought.
Jessica Clement, TVT News.
Now joined by sports anchor Kurt Black. Now, Kyle Lowry, a Toronto legend. I feel like it's been way too long since he's actually been in Toronto.
Yeah, hasn't been there since February of 2020. Not in Toronto, the greatest Raptor of all time. And after the break, with him making his return this weekend, we'll take a trip down memory lane and relive some of Kyle Lowry's greatest moments as a Raptor.